What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Police, and we're going back to the 1981 album Ghost in the Machine. Once again, big shout out to Lori. And indeed, she had asked at the beginning of the journey through this record what I thought the front cover album art might be. I've thought about it the last couple months. I keep looking at it. My best guess, my best hypothesis is that it's the guys from the band in airplane seats. Again, I'm thinking that's probably off base, but after looking at it for a while, that's my best guess. So let me know how far off base I am. Nevertheless, the next tune is One World, Not Three. So I was thinking about this. People will know I'm a historian. This is 1981, Cold War in effect, and the terminology of the three worlds, as in First World, Second World, Third World, is very much in effect. Although I have to point out, as again a historian, it's a phrase or a nomenclature that underwent an evolution. Originally, it was like Cold War political based, in that the First World was the West, the Second World was the East, and ultimately, with the major nodes being the U.S./Western Europe and then the Soviet Union. And then the Third World was used to describe nations which had not essentially taken a side, which were in essentially or eventually the non-aligned movement. That was, they were the Third World and that they weren't part of either major sphere of influence. But because those countries over the subsequent decades didn't get the same level of investment in the constant Cold War for influence between communism and capitalism and the military realities of all that, they ended up sort of lagging behind economically. And over time, those terms took on more economic connotations, whereas again, originally they had been more political in nature. So by the time you get to the early 80s, the Third World is much more seen as like countries that don't have developed infrastructure or like heavy industry. So with all that in mind, One World, Not Three, it's a sort of a declaration or a normative statement perhaps, and like the way I read it, if I'm right about the three world concept. And again, world can mean a lot of different things. World can mean literally a planet, it can mean any sort of self-contained system, whether it's society, culture, politics, or the world of humanity as distinct from the natural environment or other biological features of the physical world that we're all on. My inclination is to think that we're talking First World, Second World, Third World terminology and Cold War. So in that regard, it seems to be a statement saying, we're all humans, we're all on this planet that's, literally spinning around the sun, so, we can't divide ourselves in this way, is what it seems to be saying. And I love the fact that this is probably going to be something else completely unrelated, and I just wasted like 4 minutes of your time. I advise the Luca method, which is to sleep until the music starts. Nevertheless, let's hear it. This is the Police. The tune is One World, Not Three, and it's from their 1981 album, Ghost in the Machine. Slipping into that reggae rhythm right there. One world is enough for all of us. It's a subject we rarely mention, but when we do, we have this little invention about to tell the narrative from where from me. I shall my responsibility. One world is enough for all of us. One world is enough for all of us. I think it's heading in that direction. I like both rhythms, the slow and the fast. A triangle. specifically the perceptions about and socioeconomic distinction between first and third in particular, but here arguing that it's contrived and self-deluded. Also, Mr. Copeland, take a bow. Hold on, I'm still drumming. Major reggae vibes here at the end. The echoed vocals, this album is insane. They're like, look, if we play any more of this, like, you're gonna break most people's sound systems and stereos, so we're gonna have to cut you off here, even though you're just continuing to, you know, flourish and perform feats of musical and vocal achievement. Yeah, wow. So I feel like lyrically it was pretty much running in the direction I thought, maybe a bit more specific and targeted than I was thinking, a sort of message to people of the first world who have, again, self-deluded perceptions about this, you know, enforced system, which, again, you know, it's in some ways was the product of large geopolitical forces, you know, the echoes of which we still hear and feel today. But ultimately, yeah, the idea that, you know, really there's enough resources and there's enough humanity to go around for all the people here on Earth, so, you know, perhaps we need to make that the guiding principle of action. So, yeah, a message still sorely needed. A really cool tune. Love the mixture of reggae and reggae rock vibes. Again, love both the tempos, the slower and more reggae heavy groove mixed, or rhythm I should probably say, mixed with the you know, more raucous and fast tempo rock styling. So just a really cool tune. Again, this album definitely feels like a crystallization of a lot of what's come before, a more let's say, like, highly produced album. And I know there's like different opinions about that, and I know this is a point where already some people are feeling like it's becoming more of a Sting-led like pop group and less of that sort of reggae unique style that they had on the earlier albums. But again, I hear both. I hear continuity, I do hear a bit of an evolution, but again, in some ways it feels like a crystallization. So it's not like changing into something different, but it's refining and rendering more ornate what you've already been doing. So Luca, again, doesn't care what I'm talking about. Hopefully you do a little bit. Do let me know what you think of the song, and I will see you next time. Peace.